This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's week 3, and we are here with Storm Surge Sits and Sky High Starts. Producer, hit that button. Welcome once again to another episode of the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz Starts and Sits Extravaganza. Cone Schultzy. These aren't safe calls or consensus picks. We're planting flags, pulling receipts, and giving you the edge. Others are too afraid to chase because that's how we do. We do the work so you don't have to. That's why we're here. What's up, fellas?
Not much, man. It is week 3 and things are getting heated up here. We got tons of injuries to report, some quarterback injuries, a lot of question marks headed into the week, and we are here to provide our viewers with the best analysis we can as we head into some cloudy waters this weekend. And Schultzy, how you doing, bud?
Oh, fantastic, man. We were just talking pre-show about how great it is to have real football on TV, have weekly things happening weekly to talk about, new stuff coming in at us, and just real action to talk about. And it's so nice.
It is nice. Now, bigz, let's get into our sits of the week. Let's start with yours. We're each going to go through 2, and then we'll head into our starts. So talk about your first sit of the week, man.
My first sit of the week is going to be Josh Jacobs. He's kind of banged up right now, as are just about every running back in Green Bay or that wears green and gold. Josh Jacobs has had kind of an okay year. He had some early season or first week touchdown luck, but he hasn't been running the ball very well. Maybe that's a function of the Green Bay offense, or maybe it's a function of the Green Bay defense, but he hasn't really had the stellar kind of top 10, top 5 season that I was anticipating. He does get a pretty tough matchup in Cleveland. That as a defense, they allow 49 yards fewer rushing per game than the average. So a banged up Josh Jacobs against Cleveland, which will probably be a game in hand. I'm going to go ahead and sit him in lieu of some other more favorable plays this week.
Yeah, that's a bold call. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a huge scoring game. I think Green Bay's defense, like you mentioned, is looking pretty formidable at this stage, and they could be the dark horse of being like the number 1 defense in the league as we finish up this year when it's all said and done, because the addition to Micah Parsons makes a huge difference. Now, a guy that I'm going to be sitting here in this week after 2 weeks has looked everything the part of a future star. He's operated as Carolina's clear wide receiver 1 and has commanded 19 total targets and has posted his first 100-yard receiving game last week as a pro. He's shown chemistry with Bryce Young on both quick hitters and deep shots, and the Panthers are doing everything they can to funnel work through their new wide receiver. In most matchups, the type of role would lock him into your starting lineup no matter what, but in week 3 is not like most matchups. He is going up against a under the radar, really stout Falcons defense, and they've quietly been one of the best and stingiest secondaries in the NFL. And just last Sunday, they held Justin Jefferson to just 3 catches, and he did get 81 yards, but I'm not expecting a whole lot of action happening this week between those two, Bryce Young and McMillan. So, they got a good secondary. They had good results, and they locked up Jefferson, and I'm not expecting a whole lot out of McMillan this week. He's my first sit of the week.
Yeah, I was in a group chat. We were talking about J.J. McCarthy and the potential moving forward. Brett Coleman, who I follow very closely, tweeted out today, he watched back the McCarthy versus the Falcons in full. Most of that wasn't really his fault. The Falcons defense played their butts off, and Kevin O'Connell had a rough day as a play caller. Also, if you can't pass protect with 5, you probably shouldn't try to pass protect with 5. So the Falcons defense is really, really good. And Bryce Young, he's a 55% completion percent guy against a really, really good Falcons defense that shut down Kevin O'Connell's game plan. Not good, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
That pass rush was insane this past weekend for the Falcons, and yeah, that's going to be a problem for the Panthers.
All right, Schultzy, what do you got on your sit engine?
It's not a good bit of news for people who drafted him because he probably paid up a little bit, and the sophomore slump appears to be hitting hard for Bo Nix. We talked about it a little bit on other programs about the huge rookie season and the Sean Payton boost, and I felt kind of stupid that I wasn't super in on him last year because of Sean Payton. And well, the pumpkin, he's turning back into the pumpkin, man, that we all thought he was. He's been really horrible under pressure. He's been inaccurate. The ADOT on completed passes is under 4 yards. It's just extremely concerning all around for Bo Nix. It was really rough in week 1 against the Titans in a game they ended up winning. And that just lost to the Colts this past weekend, and I know he threw a few touchdowns still, but it has looked really, really rough for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense at times here, and they have had a little trouble getting the run going like they maybe have wanted to. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here, and they're coming up against the Chargers, who put up a good game against Mahomes week 1. They just shut out Geno Smith and the Raiders week 2. This Chargers defense is playing well. I don't like this matchup at all. So it's a combination here of I'm scared big time of this start from Bo Nix, and we got a bad matchup.
The pumpkin thing, that's a joke because they look like clowns in their orange jerseys.
There you have it.
That's what you meant, right?
Exactly. I like it, bigz. Now, let's get into your next sit of the week, bud.
All right, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and sit Devonta Adams. Rams matchup is not looking too great. They're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles and their lockdown defense. They give up 58 yards fewer per game than average, and that is good for best in the NFL. So you take the best pass defense in the NFL, you put them up against an aging wide receiver, and I'm going to go ahead and go with another option in that case.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right. I mean, I hope you're wrong. Actually, I've got a lot of Javonte Adams, and now you're making me a little bit more scared about, sliding him in my lineup.
But not to quibble.
Sorry,
it's Devontae, and also I'm not sitting Puka.
Yeah. Okay, and that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit him either. And yeah, I mean, I'll have to look at twice about putting Devonte in my lineup when I got some other options around there. So yeah, let's look at that. And my next sit of the week is a guy that he's just coming off a great performance, and he's been a reliable presence in the Steelers' offense so far this season. He's shown flashes both as a runner and a receiver out of the backfield with a steady workload, 25 carries, 6 catches through 2 games, a notable 65-yard run last week. But Jaylen Warren's fantasy stock has steadily climbed, yet the promising start hits a major roadblock in week 3 as Pittsburgh heads in and faces the New England Patriots, who has one of the league's 3rd best run defenses. And the Patriots had made life difficult for opposing running backs this year, allowing just almost 60 yards per game and denying any running back of getting even close to 100 yards. And I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit more of the same. He's going to have some upside as a pass catcher, obviously, but if you're looking at what he did last week and repeat performance, I'm going to tell you to temper your expectations. They give up limited rushing touchdowns, and his volume is lagged over, the last little while. So even though, he's their lead back, only 25 carries in 2 games isn't something to write home about when you think about this prolific Steelers run game of the past. So I'm a little bit skeptical this week against a really good run defense.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the Devonta Adams thing for a second because you seemed very skeptical, and I just want to remind you that, quote, these aren't safe calls or consensus picks. We're planting flags and giving you These are trap games, big name busts, and lineup landmines you must avoid. I thought that was the exercise here.
It was the exercise. I was just surprised to see him on your list. I wasn't expecting him there.
I feel.
And that's exactly good. I mean, that's what we want to be aware of, man. I wasn't at all criticizing your pick in whatsoever. I was actually like, okay, you opened my eyes to it.
Who you got, Schultzy?
Yeah.
Well, back to the exercise. We got a trap game coming in hot. I do not like Bryce Hall this week, man. So he burst on week 1, right? Like absolutely exploded. We're like, hey, Bryce is back. Like the big chunk plays are there. The speed is there. It was beautiful. He comes in week 2 versus Buffalo after they just got absolutely blasted by Derrick Henry. People were expecting another big game. Justin Fields gets hurt, and it all just crumbles around him. I think Justin Fields being out this week is going to be a big problem for Bryce Hall. I think that threat of the run is going to set him up a ton. Threat of the run for Fields is going to set Bryce up a ton. And without that, they're going to struggle. So we've seen what a Bryce game is going to look like in a game where the Jets offense is dead in the mud here. And it was 10 carries, 29 yards, 2 receptions for 9 yards. I mean, pretty sad day out there for Bryce Hall. He's got the Bucs this week. Like I said, no Justin Fields. The Bucs held Bijan, I think, to 25 yards on the ground or something. I think Tyler Algier outrushed him that game. They just shut down the Texans on the ground pretty well. The Bucs are a stout run defense. So, yeah, I do not like Bryce Hall this week. Chances are you got to play him. I mean, you drafted him that high. You're probably putting him in the lineup, but not great.
Correct.
Correct. Unfortunately, I think you're correct here. It's a tough matchup and it's a tough one. Now, Schultzy, let's hear from the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, what we got cracking on the network, and where you can find all of our stuff.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Yeah.
Yes. Do that.
Yes.
There you have it. All right. Let's get into our starts of the week. What people really want to hear, the guys that you need to get in your lineup as their smash start. So, Biggs, let's start with your guy, one of your guys here, bud.
All right. So, of course, there are 2 things that I want to get to. Number 1 is every opportunity I can shout out somebody from NorCal, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go with Jake. No, I'm not talking about Jake Browning. Shout out Folsom High School. I'm talking about Jake Tonjes, California Golden Bear tight end legend for the 49ers. Tight end. Over the last couple of weeks, he had 3 targets against Seattle, 5 targets against New Orleans. He had a touchdown in the first game, but he's put up 14 and 13 points in the last couple of weeks. He goes up against an Arizona defense that is pretty bad against the pass. Plus, he's got Mac Jones throwing to him. We all know what that means, Mr. McGillicuddy. So I'm going with Tonjes, especially in leagues where I have Brock Bowers, who's a little bit iffy, or I went out and drafted Evan Ingram, or have Mark Andrews. I need to see a floor this week, and Jake Tonjes is going to give me that floor. He may not go out and have an 80-yard game and a touchdown or 2, but he's definitely going to get 4 or 5 catches. He's going to put some yards together. He might have a touchdown upside, and Juwan Jennings is banged up. They've got injuries all over that 49ers team, so they're going to have to throw to somebody. They also have another tight end. I want to say it's Luke Farrell. That might not be his name, but he had a touchdown last week. And so that's another name to watch. But you know what? Go ahead and start everybody on your team named Jake.
Can I tell you a Luke Farrell anecdote?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, please. Not antidote. He's not poisonous. An anecdote.
Luke Farrell antidote. Do you have the antidote?
He was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars by one Urban Meyer. Would you like to know why he got drafted?
Because he had pictures of Urban and
Urban Meyer literally said, talking about him after the draft, was, "Oh, it's because he comes from a great family."
Wow,
that's real. Urban Meyer, everybody.
That is Moneyball. Oakland A's scout saying, "Don't draft a guy who's got an ugly girlfriend."
That's analysis at its peak. All right. Let's get into my start here. We're one of them. I think I'm on the same page with a couple of you in this room, in this, virtual room. And I'm going to start a guy that's been hot off the charts and sky high expectations for me. And even the most bullish fantasy managers probably didn't expect him to explode this quickly this year after a decent rookie season. Rome Odunze finally made that leap in his first 2 games. He just is the focal part of that Bears offense with Caleb Williams has got locked into him. He's his alpha target with Keenan Allen gone and DJ Moore settling into more of a secondary role. Rome Odunze is thriving in the unquestioned wide receiver 1 role in Chicago. He's looked polished, physical, and explosive, checking all those boxes you want from a fantasy breakout star. Week 3 sets the stage for his biggest performance yet. He's up against a Cowboys defense that is reeling secondary that just got cooked by Malik Neighbors as the wide receiver 1 overall on the week. Trayvon Diggs is still working back from injury, and Dallas is looking vulnerable on the outside, and the Bears will I think funnel the targets over to the rising wideout. So he's a huge start for me this week and a great opportunity for a lot of points in this game.
I like this call.
I love the matchup. And if you've been sitting on DJ Moore or he's available on your waiver wire, go ahead and throw him in there too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good high scoring game. Schultzy, what do you got for your first start of the week?
Well, we're going to ride the hot hand here, and I'm going to start Daniel Jones. I've got a lot of inclination here that this is not going to last, and we are going to see huge regression coming out of this Colts offense, maybe in like a month-ish. However, I'm riding this train right now while they're hot, while the offensive staff is rolling and the defensive coordinators haven't quite figured out this new look yet. Give me Daniel Jones against the Titans. They just got thrashed by the Rams and Matt Stafford. I'm just looking for Dimes to keep this rolling here. I don't really see any reason why it's not going to happen. The Titans, like I said, they just got crushed. The defense isn't anything like super crazy. Dimes has been getting the red zone carries, which is huge for him. I mean, they have vultured 3 touchdowns from Jonathan Taylor already this season. And that is a pattern that should stick. As frustrating as it is, you've got Dimes at the goal line. They're just jumping over the top. They're throwing back to like old Tom Brady dives here. I love it. We're not pushing him in. We're just jumping over the top, and it worked. So he's liable for red zone touchdowns on the ground. He's going to throw a touchdown or 2. He's got some solid weapons out there now with Pittman and Tyler Warren emerging. And I just like the start from this Colts offense. I don't trust it long term, but I'm riding it while it's hot.
And that, folks, is coming to you from a former Indianan.
That's true. That's true. Born in Indiana right here.
There you have it. Okay, let's get into our spotlight starts of the week here, and we're going to start with bigz. So let's roll the clip.
Oh, I thought it was going to do the whole thing. My start of the week is going to be Isaiah Pacheco, the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's got a pretty juicy matchup. I like those juicy matchups against the New York Football Giants. And one of the things that we saw last week was Javonte Williams running all over the New York Giants. So I look for Pacheco to do the same thing. Kansas City is in a pretty tough spot right now, simply because they are 0-2. Pacheco hasn't really gotten the ball rolling, but he goes up against a defense that is very, very. They're kind of like a sieve. They're not very good. Let's just put it that way. They give up 40 yards more than average per game, which is the lowest in the NFL. And I just like Pacheco to have a big bounce back. The Chiefs to control the game, Chiefs to finally eke out their first victory, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, you make me feel a little bit more optimistic about my team, even though they are up against the Giants. Yeah, I'm not optimistic whatsoever about them. So, their ground game has been very bad, and I'm losing a lot of faith in Pacheco when you got Kareem Hunt out snapping him and out producing him. So hopefully you are right this week, bigz, and I think a lot of Pacheco owners will breathe a sigh of relief with a big game here against a weaker defense. So we're all hoping for your prediction to come true.
Is it weird watching a losing team, Mike?
No, I've watched a lot of losing teams. I'm from Winnipeg. Bigz.
I just want to know your perspective because I've been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah, no, it's all good. All right, let's get into my start of the week spotlight, Schultzy. Well, coming into this year, I had plenty of doubts about Javonte Williams, but as the Cowboys, looking back, I just think that, just wasn't very optimistic about him with his injury history, the lack of burst last year in 2024, and the presence of younger backs on the roster gave me some pause, but through a couple of weeks here, he's completely flipped the script. He's not just back, he's looked rejuvenized, and Jaden Blue has been a healthy scratch, and Williams has been fully claimed in that Cowboys backfield with the odd, snapper here to share with Miles Sanders relieving him, but there's nothing, that is threatening to his role. The volume, the efficiency, and the trust from the coaching staff, it's all trending up, and it's time to treat him more like a plug-and-play RB2 with RB1 upside, and that's exactly what he's been over the last couple weeks, and the Bears are fresh off of massive meltdown, surrendering 52 points to the Detroit Lions, already getting torched by J.J. McCarthy in week one. That front seven has been especially vulnerable, ranking 31st in the league in defensive against the run, and they'll likely be without linebacker T.J. Edwards due to the hamstring injury, and Dallas is firing on all cylinders offensively. I could see this being a 35-point week for the Dallas Cowboys, and Javonte Williams is going to be a top 5 running back, in my opinion, this week. He's a lock and loaded RB1, and I think he's got a ton of upside here. Volume, versatility, elite utilization, and the Bears' run defense is still a huge liability, 131 rushing yards per game. So this team is in shambles, the Bears, and I think Javonte Williams is going to exploit that this week.
I hear shootout.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go. This is a DFS stacking game that I am 100% getting in on.
All right, Schultzy, let's get into your spotlight. Start of the week.
Start of the week. It's going to be Kyle Pitts. I can't believe I'm doing this. I mean, come on. We spent all off season. We literally had no idea what to do with this guy as a fantasy community. No one can let go of the talent. No one's going to deny the talent. Everyone is going to point to the production and say, what the crap? And they are absolutely right. However, through 2 games so far, we may be getting somewhat of a Kyle Pitts resurgence. He is looks like he's going to be second on this team in targets behind Drake London. London outpaced him big time week 1, but he tied Kyle Pitts in week 2. Kyle Pitts at 8 targets week 1, 5 targets week 2, 7 catches week 1, 4 last week. He's getting involved. He's playing 80% of the snaps. His yards per catch are solid at 8-9 yards so far across the 2 games. And Michael Penix, they're looking for him. They're looking for him in London. And that's great for both dudes. You don't want, in this offense, you don't want either of them losing too many targets to Mooney. So, yeah, man, I really got the feeling we're going to get a game out of Kyle Pitts here. He's playing the Panthers. Brenton Strange racked up a nice game week 1. Trey McBride had a couple nice plays here week 2. So they've been giving up some plays to the tight end. And you drafted Pitts, probably not as your starter, but at this point, I think you're going to be okay with him in your starting lineup moving forward. I really do.
Yeah, so I have him in a league in which I also have Trey McBride. So bench 1 for Kyle Pitts: Travis Hunter, Tedero McMillan, Cedric Tillman, Travis Etienne, Quentin Johnston.
Hunter.
I would probably sit Hunter as well. I'd probably play Pitts over Hunter.
Okay.
Just with the way the wide receivers are playing with the Jags, they got Parker Washington stepped up, De'Ami Brown stepping up, and I think that with the way that the Jags defense is holding up right now, I think they could use him more. So I'm going to see them using him there. They're a little bit banged up if they're not, right, Schultzy? Didn't they lose a D-back this week as well? So I think they're going to maybe use him a bit more as well until they absolutely need him.
I agree with you that
Probably
I think
not
you will
matter.
see. I think the defensive snaps are going to pace up here for Hunter. And to be honest, he's already looked like he might be the best cornerback on the team. Like, he's been very good already on defense. That was not a penalty on him, and it should have won the game. And if it wasn't called, we would be talking Travis Hunter won the game for the Jaguars with some crazy defensive play. But that's not what happened, so that's not the narrative. But so, yes, I do think we see some more push to get him on the defensive side here. He's playing extremely well.
Mm-hmm. All right, bigz.
It's not going to matter much. I'm supposed to win this matchup by 35 points. And this is a team that has rostered Jay Hokett and A. Carlisle, who I don't know who those are.
You gotta love it.
All right. Well, let's plug our stuff here, bigz, and get our viewers something to go home with the weekend with. Looking forward to. All right. From all of us on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, thank you for tuning in.
I'm having really bad internet problems. So.
Yeah, it's all good. We will see you next time on our waiver wire show or recap show, and we hope you win, folks.
I hope you win.
Peace.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.